AFC Championship game, Chiefs going to Baltimore. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl to play the San Francisco 49ers.
Go to Baltimore on the road, win to go to the Super Bowl.
First time on the road, that's going to be different for them.
He called it. Nostradamus Sims Unbuttoned is here once again. What's up, everybody? It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. I don't know where that came from, and my voice was a little raspy there and cracked. Ahmed Fareed is here in his famous red pants to kick off the year. And yeah, it's prediction time in the NFL once again. I had forgot I said that last year. Damn, I love when the people that I work with make me feel good about me. But yep, I knew I had picked the Super Bowl matchup. And I picked the 49ers to win, but either way, I'll take the win right there that I got, 3 out of the last 4 teams remaining. I think I had the Eagles instead of Detroit in the NFC Championship game, if I remember correctly. But this is fun. I always enjoy this exercise, and I've been thinking about this exercise for, I'm going to say, over a month, right? I know this is coming. I like to try to be somewhat in the ballpark. I understand I'm not going to be right, but I do want to have, some be close on the final 4, the final 8 teams. I'll be disappointed if I only had half the teams or in the conference championship or the divisional round. And then, of course, the MVP race and all that stuff. I try to think about it a little bit. But
yeah.
What's up, man? Good to see
you.
Thanks for coming back. Who are you? What's your name? Good to see you.
I come back once a month now.
Thanks.
It's
All
like
right.
a celebrity guest appearance. Our Paralympics are almost through. We got one more weekend to go here, so the
Right.
closing ceremony coming up next Sunday. But good to be back with you. And you often say this is the answer key. This will be the answer key.
I was going there and I choked, right?
And
I hope everybody enjoyed that opening. I had no clue I was going to say that or do that there. It almost brought me back to my Aaron Rodgers days when I used to hymn that all the time.
Well, this is what the haters don't get about you. Is
Right.
they think you're like hot take Chris Sims. You're not. You want to be right. You just want to be right. At the end of the day, you want what you say to be correct.
Gosh.
And if you're just hot take guy, then you're not worried about being right.
No.
You want to be right.
No. I don't know. I mean, how many times have I gone? I would love this maybe if we kept score sometimes where people go, oh, that's hot take. And then if we could go back a month later and go, no, that was hot correct fact is what it was. But I know that's the way it is in our business, and it's cool. I like that. I enjoy that. It's part of what motivates me for stuff like this is the haters of the world out there, saying stuff like that where I, again, want to prove them wrong, be right, whatever else. But it's a good exercise. It really does. It makes you dive into teams one more time. It makes you think about their psyche. The schedule gets one more look, right? You look at that. You start to go, ooh, wait, what about the preseason? Do I think they'll hit the ground running? And you try to read between the tea leaves, as most smart people say, and try to go, I'm big into a little bit of the headline reading of the OTAs into training camp and what players and teams are saying and themes that are coming out of there, right?
Yeah.
I am big into that. And then I put a little extra emphasis on teams that played in the preseason, and that'll be a big thing of me, especially when I pick games here in week 1.
What I try to do when I look at this is I'm
Right.
like, okay, what narratives, what stories have been told that have kind of taken off and that are
Right.
that are detached from reality?
Yeah.
Because I think that happens every year. We want there to be some interesting storylines. We want some teams that have been down to be better this
Right.
year.
Like Houston last year. That was great.
Yeah, you want that. Yeah, you want that, and that one actually happened. I
Right.
don't know, but no one predicted that.
No one
early
predicted
on
it.
in
You're
the
right, but
season.
it was cool we had it.
So it's like, what are the
nonetheless.
things that people want? Well, who's the sexy Super Bowl pick that everyone's kind of talking into believing in?
Right.
That the evidence of the roster is just not there yet. It's like I try to look at that. Last year, you're right. You picked the 49ers over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I picked the Cowboys over the Chiefs. They really let me down. Cowboys really let me down there. Pete, as he notes here in his infinite wisdom, nailed the Chiefs over the 49ers.
Way to
Only
go.
Pete
Way to go.
Could have known. Patrick Mahomes, still good.
Yep, there's so many things there, and I remember really struggling with that last year on the day before I was doing the pod, going, man, gosh, Mahomes, the Chiefs, are they going to beat my buddy again in the Super Bowl? And again, I guess I was thinking a little bit of maybe a Chiefs letdown to a degree. Right? Just because they had won the Super Bowl the previous year. The 49ers hadn't won one yet. That motivation, I think, is what kind of gave me, the little boost to pick the 49ers last year. This year, right, this is interesting because I do think there's some teams on a mission, but I think one of the teams that is on a mission is the team that won the last 2 Super Bowls, right? And that's where we haven't had this. There's only been 2 times in my life where we've gone, wait, It's year 3, and the same team won the Super Bowl the 2 years before. And in those 2 times, the same thing happened, right? The 49ers, maybe a little better than the Giants in the 90 NFC Championship game. Leonard Marshall hits Joe Montana. He fumbles. The 49ers mess up a few things. The Giants, Jeff Hostetler, going to the Super Bowl 25. They beat the Bills, right? Upset the three-peat. The other one would be the Cowboys, again dealing with the 49ers, but a vice versa role. The Cowboys won 2 in a row. If everybody remembers, kind of shit the bed early in the game, like 3 quick turnovers. They were down 21-0 like that. They came all the way back and made it a game. And really, Deion Sanders probably got away with a pass interference late in the game on Michael Irvin that would have put the Cowboys down about the 5-yard line, right? And there's the Cowboys could have gone for their three-peat. So we haven't seen this, right? We've seen teams go to 3 Super Bowls in a row in Super Bowl history and all of that, but never 3 in a row. And I do think the Chiefs are highly motivated by that aspect. I do.
As hungry as a defending Super Bowl team maybe has ever been.
Seriously.
Pete also notes that 112 other homies did pick the Chiefs over the 49ers as well. So he was not alone. Homies, well done with that.
Yep.
And again,
Right.
you tweeted out
Yeah.
the spreadsheet, and so people can fill that out. Pete did it last night. And so, homies, if you're out there, I think we've already had over 100 do it now, maybe even more than that. Their predictions. And so if you're right, we'll say your name on the pod. We'll mispronounce your name on the pod. We'll also have the award winners, our predictions there. I've got my most interesting award winners, like who would be the most interesting to win the award.
I
if
like
this
your
happened.
angle there.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into
ready?
it. You know, the first thing I just want to say, I got to hang out with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs last week.
right.
Just to bounce off what I was saying a little there. They are a team that's motivated. Mahomes made a comment, right, that really, in the interview, that rang true to me. He was on the plane going to Buffalo for the divisional playoff game, right?
Their first road game in the
playoff
playoffs
game
in the history of Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. And he's in the back of the plane with Kelsey, and he says something like, we're going to piss a lot of people off if we win the Super Bowl this year because we're not supposed to win it. This is not supposed to be our year, right? And they got that, and here they are. So that's where I look at it, not only the three-peat motivation, but as I sensed and I've kind of alluded to a little bit through the spring and stuff, they're going back and watching film last year going, damn, we weren't that good. We got to get better, right? And that's odd for a Super Bowl team to have that feeling off of what you were saying that's highly motivated, maybe as highly motivated as ever for a team that's coming off back-to-back championships.
All right, so we're going to start in the NFC. We'll get to the AFC here in just a second, as you probably assumed. Like, I didn't even need to say that. People just like,
we always talk. We're an NFC podcast, I feel like.
Giants,
I'm
Lions,
NFC blood, right? That's where I feel it,
49ers.
right? I was drafted by the Bucks, right?
Yeah,
but I grew up NFC world,
me too.
so I always preferred the NFC
Me
first.
too. Sorry AFC lovers out there. We'll start with the NFC. And so here are the odds. DraftKings has the odds to make the playoffs in the NFC. The 49ers are the favorite, the overwhelming favorite to make the playoffs over any other team in the NFC. Minus 525. It's Eagles after that, minus 250. Lions, Falcons, Cowboys, Packers, Rams, Bears. So those teams right now are favored to make the postseason with the Buccaneers, Saints, Seahawks, Commanders
it's
on the outside looking in.
Eye-popping number there with the Niners to be basically, not double, but close to double the second-place team there in the Eagles. But I understand it, right? You get it. I mean, I do for the most part. I think they are the cream of the class of their division. So you think playoffs, I understand the 49ers not making the playoffs would be a shocking thing. So I understand that. Well, I wonder what
have you done that one before? Cream of the class.
Cream of the class. I don't know if I have. That might be a new one right there. A new Simsism there, but I kind of like that actually right there. Yes, that's a good one.
But what class would have cream in it though? As that's the question.
Well,
right?
the good one, the good part of the class.
Although I don't know, cream of the crop. What's the cream of the crop? Where does that come from?
Exactly right. I don't know, but I like cream of the class. It does add something to it, so we're gonna stick with that for a little bit. But yeah, I think I understand those odds as far as playoffs are concerned. I'm sure if we got into Super Bowl numbers, they would not be quite the same there. But
No,
yeah,
they
the
would not
49ers are clearly, the team to beat in the NFC West.
And I'll just say this too.
Yeah.
I like to be the contrarian.
Yeah,
Oftentimes, I
we
like
know.
to think, I'll be a little creative.
Right.
It's just like, all right,
Yeah.
what are people missing here?
Right.
I had a very hard time, both AFC and
Being
NFC.
creative.
Yeah, kind of.
Right.
Right.
The
'Cause,
AFC
like,
you could be because there's so many good teams. The NFC you're kind of
NFC, I want to kind of pick some of the other, but there's weaknesses lose, and you're just like, can I really?
I
don't
know.
really believe in them that much.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. You want to be a little different. You try to look at teams. I do try to look at teams and go, wait, what is the new teams that are going to be infused into the conversation? Like you talked about last year with Houston being a part of that. And, every year we've seen 2 or 3 different teams be a part of the playoffs that weren't a part of it the year before. So I love to try to figure those out. But in the NFC, I'm with you. I had a hard time. I found 2 spots to do it. And not that I went out of my way to do it. I believe in them too. So it fit, right? AFC, though, believe is a different thing. Teams in the playoffs, there are more to pick from in the AFC. And that's for sure. And I listen, you're going to see here in a minute. I got a few teams that got a lot of talent. And I'm scratching my head. I'm writing it down in my notes. I'm walking away to get a little extra coffee yesterday morning. I'm like, damn, am I really going to keep that team out of the playoffs? Like, holy shit. And that's where the AFC is kind of a tough one there.
So, again, that's a tease for the AFC. So let's just do your seeds.
Yeah,
let's do your division winners.
Right.
In the NFC, who's your number 1 seed in the NFC?
I'm going with your Detroit Lions
Let's go.
as the number 1 seed. Listen, the team we know, I think we've gone past the, do we believe in ourselves? Can we get there? I feel like now, like I said, listening to what they say up there, the things that are coming out of Detroit, they don't give a shit that they're the hunted. They believe they've arrived. They believe Super Bowl. I mean, really, they're kind of been saying Super Bowl or bust the whole offseason.
Which scares me a little bit.
I
You
hear
don't want
ya.
to put the cart ahead of the horse,
I hear you,
as they say.
But I think when you get to a certain quality of a team, it does not scare me, right? When teams like the 49ers and the Chiefs and now the Lions, right? And we could probably add another team or two, another team or two, the Bengals, they start to say things like that. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's enough of us to go, offensive line's awesome. Quarterback's damn good. Ooh, receivers are good. Awesome running back. Whoa, lots of size on the D-line. Oh, they improved the secondary, right? They got another pass rusher. So those things, like, I don't look at it that way. And then, I think they have a favorable schedule. Not that it's easy, don't get me wrong, but certainly in a spot where I feel like the first half of the year, they're better than a lot of the teams on their schedule, and I feel like they can get in almost to Thanksgiving going, hey, we're in a good spot here. Even if we lose a few games down the stretch, we're going to be in the play here for 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever, right?
I believe it's all but 3 times all year they play inside. They play in a dome for Jared Goff and that offense on turf.
Incredible.
It's gonna be great.
It is.
Great
It's 3
schedule
times. You're right.
In the regular season for them. Your number 2 seed, this is maybe a bit of a shock for some people.
Yeah, my number 2 seed, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Philadelphia Eagles, you know my thoughts on them. Team super talented. I would argue maybe it's the most talented roster in football.
But it was last year.
It was last year, and that's where does the culture fix itself here, right? The Sirianni, the Jalen Hurts talk, the belief in the locker room. Now we got a new D coordinator, a new O coordinator, and all that. They are super talented. I will be shocked if they don't turn it around. I will be shocked. Okay, I'm going to say the reason I picked them as a 2 seed, again, schedule early on, it's pretty tough. But I feel like there'll be a little bit of a learning curve, getting used to the new defense, new offensive coordinator, and all that, to where like the last few years we were kind of like, the Eagles are starting 10-0. Like, let's just get over it. They're starting 10-0. The schedule's a joke. They're going to go 10-0, right? This year, I don't think it'll be that way. And I think with the way they're playing and some of the teams they're playing, when we get to week 10, they'll be one of the top teams in the NFC, but they're not going to be 9-1 or 10-0 like years past, right?
You will pick all the way through the bracket here, too, so that's still to come on all these teams. Your 3 seeds, the 49ers, what an interesting offseason it's been for them. Brandon Ayuk, that deal is done.
Exactly.
Trent Williams, at the recording of this pod, looks like they're heading towards a deal there.
Exactly.
Both should be available week 1. Ricky Pearsall over the weekend was shot in San Francisco.
Holy
and so
shit.
Best wishes to him and
That's
his recovery. Sounds like he'll be able to do that, but not play in the first few weeks of the season. So 49ers, with all that's happened, you can comment on Williams and Ayuk, too.
That's part of why I'm picking him as the 3 seed. Not only is it devastating that you lost the Super Bowl in the fashion you lost, and I do think that takes a toll on a football team. I don't care what anybody says, right? And that's why you don't see teams a lot of the times who lose the Super Bowl come back the next year and win it that next year. It's hard to do. The psyche of it, right? To climb that mountain again and go, wait, we were just on the top, and now we got to start on the bottom, and we got nothing to show for it. We got to do it again. Now they have first-class problems in the fact of, Ayuk and all that. That's great, but do I think Ayuk's going to be like all systems go week 1 against the Jets? Do I think that offense is going to be all systems go week 1? I mean, Shanahan, I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't think they've had a practice yet with their first-team offense. Today might be the first day. That doesn't bode well against the Jets, who you know are foaming at the mouth right now to go, we're here this year, we're real. Robert Saleh, I'm not getting fired. Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to show you this is the right move. I mean, so that's why. Just I'm giving quick synopsis here. And their first 3 games are sneaky. That's the other part of the Niners. Yeah, we know they could lose week 1 against the Jets, but then to go to Minnesota and the Rams, 2 coaches who have shown they understand how to move the ball against that defense, right, and understand how Shanahan thinks a little bit, I think it could be a little bit of a scary start of the year. I picture the 49ers kind of stumbling and finding their way for the first 10 weeks or so. Like we might be sitting here going, hey, they're 5-5 or they're 6-4, and then they kind of put it together down the stretch to get in the playoffs. That's what I'm kind of envisioning. But because of the Trent Williams, Ayuk, McCaffrey hurt all training camp. I do think that Dre Greenlaw not going to be there. Hufanga just getting back. And I think it's coming to the last year or maybe the second to last year of the shelf life of this football team. So that's why I got them 3.
12-5 last year for as good as they were. They did beat up on the division 5-1. Maybe a little tougher this time around.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Better.
Seattle will be better. Arizona will be better. And we know the Rams are going to be a pain in the ass.
Your division winner in the NFC South is
the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, this is the 3rd year in a row I think I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons. This is the best I feel about it, though, now because of the quarterback situation, right? I still don't know what exactly Kirk Cousins is going to look like early on here, but I also want to give him the bump of the Raheem Morris energy culture. They're excited about the year, right? Their offense will be different, and I think they made the right, like, their offense didn't need much on that side of the ball. They were pretty good. Defensively, got another safety, got another pass rush. I look at them and go, that's a pretty complete team. One of the more complete teams in the NFC. I'm taking them to win the South.
All right, so now your 3 wild card teams.
Yeah.
Take me through your thought process on this.
Yeah, well, Packers are 5.
Okay.
I think the Packers are every bit as talented as your Lions and Eagles, 49ers. They're in that class of talent. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying if there was a cream of the class, as brilliant people say, okay, that would be one I'd look at and go, hey, the Packers are in that class.
At the end of last year and in the playoff, you could have made the argument that the Packers were the second best team.
I've made the argument a lot this offseason that they were the better team on the field with the 49ers, right? I mean, I just feel like if Jordan Love had a little more experience, he had a little bit of a bad night. But let's be honest, the Green Bay Packers didn't capitalize on opportunities. The biggest thing from that game is that they dropped 5 interceptions, if you remember correctly, right? So, yes, but with all that, I know I said that to you after the game. Like, they were every bit as talented as the 49ers. We weren't like, oh, man, the 49ers didn't play good and, the Packers were lucky to be in the game. It was the opposite that game. It was like, damn, man, the Packers are kind of having their way. The 49ers are fortunate to come out on top here and play in the NFC Championship game. I think they're ready for the next step. I do. I look at them and go, I don't think there's many weak spots on their football team. I think a few people question their O-line. I get that, but I still think it's plenty good enough. I look at them and go, yeah, they're real deal, and I think Jordan Love will be even a different guy than what we saw last year.
Just talked about the NFC West being stronger. You have 2 teams in from the West. Your second is the 6th seed in the Rams.
The Rams. I love the Rams. I love the offense. I have no questions about it at all. To me, it's all about the defense. Do they have enough play? You know what I always say about these type of teams. It's a good defense, right? It is a new D coordinator or something there, but do they have enough sizzle and splash, right? Do they have a guy where, they're playing the 49ers in a big game or somebody else in the NFC that we can go, well, he'll get a sack in a big moment like Aaron Donald or somebody. Or he'll get a pick in a big moment, right? Like Jalen Ramsey did when he was in his prime with the Rams. I don't know. That's what scares me about the Rams is I know the defense is good, but it's the top-level talent of the defense, and it's young, that's where I have them, of course, not winning the West and being that 6th seed.
They were a good defense last year, better than most people thought.
Exactly
and
right.
A very young defense last year. They're
Right.
young again because they have Braden Fisk is a rookie, is slated to start.
Exactly right.
Jared
Verse
Verse is a rookie, slated to start.
Right.
You got Kobe Turner last year, who was good. Byron Young last year, so second-year guys there. Defensive front, outside of Aaron Donald, is very young.
It's very young. It's unproven. There's a lot that I like. There's potential there, but it's all guys that are, in year 1, 2, or 3. And you just go, are they going to, are certain guys going to take that next step to get on the scene here as a pass rusher or something like that? That's what I want to see there. But, I worry about their defense a little bit overall, and I got to see it to believe it, I guess is what I'm saying there.
So I picked my playoff teams. We have one more to go for you here
Right.
still. I didn't seed them, but I put them division winners.
Yeah.
All the same as yours.
Yep.
I put in wild card teams. The first two you mentioned there, Packers, Rams. I also
You
have
got 'em in, right.
We only differ on one.
In the NFC, we only differ on
In
one.
the NFC, just one.
You're riding with them again.
I have the Cowboys. I just can't
You
give
just
them
can't
up.
get off, huh?
I can't give them up.
I can't quit you.
And I would never put the Bears in as my most hated team in the NFC and NFL.
And because of that, I put them in.
So they're in for you. The Bears are in for you. The Cowboys are in for me.
Yep. Okay. Good. I think you knew this was coming.
You've
probably
been hinting at it for a while.
Yeah, I am, and this is one of those teams. I don't even feel like it's off the radar anymore.
They're getting a lot
I feel
of
like
love.
a lot of people are saying this, and we just saw that with our DraftKings betting and the odds there. I mean, people think the Bears will go to the playoffs.
They're actually favored. Yeah,
So-
they're favored to be a playoff team.
Defense is, I think, super talented, right? And we know the offense is super talented to go along with it. I mean, that we do. Now it's just about the young guys, the quarterback, of course, Odunze. Can they come along to the capacity we think they're capable of? All right, that'll be the big thing. But man, the way they ended the year last year, like I said, and I think they got a real deal QB here. I'm taking the Bears as my 7th seed.
This is what I just noticed too with our
Yeah.
DraftKings Sportsbook. So
Yeah.
there are 8 teams favored to make the playoffs in the NFC. How is that possible? You can do that?
Well,
come on,
yeah.
DraftKings.
I mean, by numbers, you can.
Come on.
you
Make a
can.
call. Make a call here, DraftKings.
So 8 teams. That's what you said.
8 teams are favored.
Who are
yeah.
the teams? Because the
All
Cowboys
the teams that
were
picked.
in it.
Yeah, Cowboys
I
and
get
Bears
that.
are both favored to be
Right.
a playoff team.
Well, the money's on there, and I certainly
Mathematically
think
impossible.
the Cowboys are. The Cowboys. I would say the Cowboys, the Bears, the Vikings would be the and then maybe even Seattle or be the next group of teams there that I would go are all going to fight for that 7th seed, right? That would be my if you made me guess, and Nostradamus guesses again. Maybe that would be the teams I would single
I
out.
think the Vikings at plus 300
Is
are
could
the
be
most
the
interesting.
Bet, could be a great bet.
And, which is why I am a little worried about my Detroit Lions because I do feel like in the NFC there's no doubt about it. I think they have the hardest division. Even though the West
Definitely.
is tough, I think that the Packers are good. Bears are going to be better, and I don't think the Vikings are going to be that much worse because they were borderline playoff team last year with the
Vikings are
quarterback
gonna be
troubles they
better.
had.
I think in a lot of ways the Vikings will be better.
Yeah.
I would be. They're going to surprise people with Sam Darnold, and yes, they could be the team that I'm wrong about with you with the Cowboys and me with the Bears. Could the Vikings be there? Would I be shocked? Absolutely not.
All right, let's go through your bracket
Yeah.
now. We'll start
Yeah.
with a wild card.
All right.
You got the Eagles and Bears.
Yep, I'm taking the Eagles there. Right, first game, playoffs, young Bears team. They're just going to be happy to be there. Right? Oh my gosh, we made the playoffs. Blah blah blah. And we know the Eagles, and that's a tough place to play down there. Playoff football. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles to win that one.
Sean McVay, the Rams, travel to San Francisco in the 3 seed.
Oh, the worst thing that could happen to the
no.
49ers. The worst thing. Somebody that knows them, somebody that knows Shanahan's tricks, right? Somebody understands their Seattle schemish type defense. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go, you got to pick one upset in the wild card round. I'm going to pick it as, the 49ers finally just worn out by the year, what happened this offseason, the Super Bowl chase from last year.
It was
all
too
that.
hard. It was all too
It
hard.
was all too hard, right. And the Rams come away with a victory in Santa Clara.
What happens when Kyle talks to you and he's like, hey, where'd you pick us?
Yeah, well,
What'd you do?
He probably won't ask that. He'll find out from somebody in his family at some point. And he'll probably make a sly comment when we talk later down the road where he'll do something like that. Usually what happens is like his sister, his brother-in-law, maybe his wife will text me a screenshot of something that we put out on social media when I don't pick them.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the f***? And I'm like, I mean, come on. I'm just going. It's just I'm rooting for him. You know that. It's just sometimes I can't pick him.
I picked you to win the Super Bowl last year, and you screwed me.
You screwed me over. I'm never picking you again.
All right, we got the 5-4 matchup, Packers at Atlanta.
Yep. And, of course, I think the Packers are like a 5 seed here that's like they're only a 5 seed because they had to deal with the Lions in their division, right? I think they're better than really probably the 3 and 4 seed. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Packers, right? On the road in Atlanta, winning that football game. Another one where it's like the Falcons, they'll be kind of, hey, we made the playoffs. This is great. It's a great first year. And the Packers and Matt LaFleur, don't forget about the motivation there. He's been to NFC championship games. He's got this incredible record, right? But he has yet to get to the Super Bowl like a McVay or a Shanahan or a Zach Taylor, who are all from that coaching tree, right? I think there's great motivation there in that Packers organization right now.
So then we got the well-rested Detroit Lions, the 1 seed, hosting Sean McVay and the Rams.
Again, I mean, this matchup won't leave us, right? It's part 3 is what we're going to be looking at there. And, of course, I'm going to take the Lions. I just think you're too good of a football team. And then that's where you get into that matchup, and I just go, ooh, those concerns we talked about with the Rams defense, this is the team that would scare you in that scenario right there. So, yes, I will take the Lions to be at home hosting the NFC Championship.
Against whom? The Packers, the 5 seed. The Eagles, the 2 seed.
I'm going with the Packers.
A win on the road in Philly.
A win on the road, right? It's actually funny when I did this, I was like, I remember when Aaron Rodgers went to his first Super Bowl, they won a game in Philadelphia, and then they won in Atlanta before they beat the Bears to go to the Super Bowl. And I just thought it was funny that here's Jordan Love and, getting to the playoffs and, some of those same matchups are popping up here.
So then we got our NFC Championship game in Detroit.
Right.
City's going crazy.
Going crazy.
Ahmed Fareed's there as a fan.
Oh,
all
my
decked
gosh,
out.
right. And then they're shaking in their boots, though, because it's the Packers. And they know that the Packers have had their number forever.
Well, we saw it on Thanksgiving. It was like I was so ready. It was like the Lions finally good last year for the first time in forever. My whole family is over there. I had the day off.
Right. Like,
my
this
son's
is our time.
My son's into football now. He's into the Lions. I'm like, this is going to be great.
It's the worst thing for the Lions. A team, again, that's going to be comfortable there, know what it's like to play at Ford Field, understand the team, right? All of that. And I'm picking the upset, Ahmed.
How dare you?
Just like when Aaron Rodgers went to his first Super Bowl and beat Philadelphia and the Falcons and an NFC North team on the road, Jordan Love will do the same to get to his first Super Bowl.
How dare you do that?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Heartbreak in Detroit.
You have the Packers in the Super Bowl
I'm
from
going
the
the
NFC.
Packers.
So you really do believe in that?
I do. And it's not that I don't believe. Listen, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Lions, Packers, or Eagles, right?
Yeah.
I think those would be my 3. But yes, I'm gonna go with the Packers. I am. I think it's Matt LaFleur's time. I think he's been one of the best coaches in the game. He hasn't got that credit. What he dealt with the Aaron Rodgers situation wasn't easy. How he brought Jordan Love last year along. And, new defensive coordinator. They did all that last year with the defense not being great or not playing to the standards I think it's capable of with that talent. So, yeah, I'm going Packers.
So my little red flag warning is just like what I talked about at the top of the pod. Are we heaping too much on Jordan Love already? Are we believing in the hype? Because we were midway through last year.
Number one question.
And the question was, wait, is Jordan Love even the guy for the Packers? Let's let the rest of the year play out. And we'll see if he is the guy going forward. Finishes the year great. Wins a playoff game. Looks awesome at times.
Right.
But have we gotten ahead of ourselves?
That is definitely went through my mind yesterday morning when I was finally putting this pen to paper and going, okay, man, I was like, am I really going to take Jordan Love here just in his second year as a starter? But I think it's different as a second-year starter, too, with a guy that's, this is year 5 in the NFL for him? A little more mature than your normal second-year guy. And then I just look at their team and go, hey, he doesn't need to do it all. I think their defense is going to be phenomenal. And, of course, I think their offense has got talent. And with that Josh Jacobs at running back, too, I think that changes an element of their football team.
I had the exact same NFC Championship game as you, my Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, and of course I took the Lions.
Of course you did.
Of course
but you had the Packers, too.
I had the Packers, too.
I like it. And you had the Packers beating the Eagles on the road? Is that what you did? Oh, no, that's mine. Sorry, you didn't do all of that.
No, that
you
was
just
yours.
went there. Sorry.
That was yours. I fast forward to the end of it.
Yeah, you just got to it.
I was like, I don't even know how it even works. Reseeding here, I'm not going to try to get into that. All right, so there's the NFC.
There
As
is
promised,
the NFC.
We have the AFC playoff predictions, and that's coming up next. Want to let you know, fantasy season just got better. $1 million better. Create or join a private Yahoo Fantasy League. Enter the $1 million NBC sweepstakes. Plus, you can earn extra entries to win when players on your fantasy roster score a touchdown during an opening weekend game on NBC or Peacock. Got a lot of chances there. You got like every game in the NFL on NBC or Peacock. You can download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app. You can go to NBCSports.com as well /Fantasy Million to learn more. Yeah, you're going to be busy. You're going to be busy over the next, few months, but definitely this weekend.
Definitely this weekend.
Starting Thursday.
Thursday. I mean, we're, of course, going to be on the field pregame, Ravens-Chiefs. Friday.
When do you leave?
I'm going to leave tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning.
Okay.
The Friday, we'll be doing the Brazil game, first game ever in South America.
You will not be in Sao Paulo.
I will not be there, no, but we'll be in the studio doing an hour pregame show leading up to the Eagles and Packers, which is going to be awesome. I'm excited to see that whole environment and everything down there, right? Especially with those two quality of teams we just talked about, right? And then Saturday's a big day of college football that I'm here for. And then Sunday, we ended off with an awesome game.
Yeah.
I mean, Stafford going back to Detroit once again and dealing with that. So, it's a great weekend, but I don't know if I'll be involved in any Yahoo Fantasy or anything like that here this weekend.
We kick it all off with Chiefs and Ravens. The kickoff game on Thursday. DraftKings has the odds to make the AFC playoffs, and those are the two teams at the top of the list here.
Similar
Chiefs,
to the NFC type of thing here.
Minus 600, so even more of a lock to make the playoffs than the 49ers over in the NFC. Then you got co-second favorites in the Ravens and Bengals, also favored to make the playoffs, the Houston Texans, Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. And congrats, DraftKings, 7 teams. 7 teams there, so not on the fence.
7 teams
in the AFC.
7 teams with the Chargers, the Jaguars, the Colts, the Browns, the Steelers, just on the fringe of being there. And again, I think that's what we see the difference between the AFC and the NFC. There's going to be some teams that you're going to go, wait, this is a playoff caliber roster, and they're not going to make the playoffs. There's definitely more teams in the mix here. And because of the conference being so hard and how it shakes out too, it's one of those conferences where, hey, the wrong people get hurt at the wrong part of your schedule. You could end up going 0-3 during a stretch and go, damn, we were 7-4 and looking great, and whoever got hurt, and now we're 7-7, and the conference is incredible, and now we're not going to make the playoffs. So, man, the AFC is legit. I'm not shocked by the Chiefs thing, just like we talked about with the 49ers. It's to make the playoffs. Yeah, we expect them to make the playoffs, and you could probably argue it's the weakest division in the AFC. Right? I don't think any of us are expecting the Raiders to get there. Yeah, better. The Chargers, I don't expect to get there. Spoiler alert, but I think better. Okay. And then the Denver Broncos, I kind of feel the same way about too. I don't know if I look at any of them and just go, oh, wow. Right? Where in the NFC West, at least we thought the Rams are a playoff team and the Cardinals would be a pain in the butt, and the Seahawks are another team I go fringe playoffs. But, I understand the Chiefs being the landslide favorite to make the playoffs in the AFC.
So we don't have many disagreements on the AFC side either here, but we have a huge one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because your number 1 seed, I do not have as a playoff team.
Whoa.
And they were not a playoff team last year.
No,
in
they
my
weren't.
defense. Now, there were some reasons for that and injuries and significant ones. But your 1 seed in the AFC is
the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I feel great about everything about the Cincinnati Bengals except for the Ja'Marr Chase situation. I mean, period. That's the only thing that made me sit there over the last week and go, man, what is going on here? When is he going to get on the field, right? The distraction of it, it's kind of flew under the radar because they're Cincinnati for that caliber of a football player and everything there, right? And again, I don't know what the hell they're waiting for. To me, that's as easy as it gets. But no, the Bengals are f***ing around with Ja'Marr Chase, and that bothers me. Yeah, so I don't know what to expect. Now, let me say, the roster, I mean, I think the offense is awesome. And I think with the offensive line, especially if Amarius Mims is back in there at right tackle after his little pec injury, but they got Trent Brown, I think the offensive line's ready. The way they have talked all offseason, like the things I've told you about, they refuse to bow to the Chiefs. They refuse, right? That's the kind of talk that tells me they're on the bulletin board, right? When I hear stuff like that. I think the defense is super talented. They're young in a few spots. The corners, yeah, we got to see some of them take the next step, but they're talented. So I love that, Ahmed, let alone they're led by a quarterback that I think's on a mission this year, and all he has talked about is Super Bowl, stay healthy, right? The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they're very aware of all that. Put on some extra armor and weight to become bigger and stronger to last the year. And here's my last thing of why I do it. I know they played the Chiefs in week 2, but I look at week 1 against the Patriots, week 3 against the Commanders, week 4 against the Panthers, right? And week 6 against the Giants, where I go, there we are, 4 out of the first 6 games. Like, there is no doubt they're the better team on the field, right? And then we have the Ravens and the Chiefs, right, which is like a toss-up. But I look at them to go, they could be sitting real pretty, through that first stretch of the season. Up, beat the Ravens, beat the Chiefs. I wouldn't be shocked if we're sitting here mid-October going, hey, the Bengals are 5-1. Watch out.
I'm surprised you have them as the 1 seed, though,
I
because
know.
of what we talked about with the Chiefs,
the division,
yes,
I get
because you could make an argument that the other 3 teams in the North, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens, could be playoff teams as well.
I got you. I know.
It's going to be a gauntlet for them.
It is. It is going to be a gauntlet. It's not a year where I look at it and go, oh, they're the number 1 seed by 2 or 3. It's like, I think it might be one of those, and this is why I think they played in preseason game 1, and they played a good amount of their guys in preseason game number 2 a little bit. They realize that week 2, right? That could be for the home field advantage right there. Just a tiebreaker. Hey, we're both 12-5, but we beat you head-to-head, so you got to come to us in the AFC Championship game. And I think that's big for them, too. They talk about it a lot, how they want to host some of these games this year, right? And I think that's why there's been a little extra urgency in preseason and training camp for them, because they realize, wait, we can't do what we've done the last few years. Be sitting there at 3-3 or 4-3, kind of finding our way, and then go, we're going to get hot when we need to, which they have, and that's what I respect about them. But at the same time, if you want to be the 1 seed and do that, you can't do shit like that. And that's where, I like their chances.
Defense last year gave up a lot of big plays, uncharacteristic for them. So those are some of the reasons why I was just like, someone's got to be left out, and I left out the Bengals. As we move on to your 2 seed, and this is where the Kansas City Chiefs slot in.
Yeah,
for you.
Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, again, I still think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be every bit in the fight for the 1 seed and one of the best teams in football all year long. I don't doubt that. Early season, hey, Bengals, Ravens right off the bat, right? Then got to go to Atlanta in week 3. That's not easy. So that's another reason. They're another team that I think that's why they were played a lot in the preseason. They understand, like, we don't have time to, f around here early in the year. We mess around. We could be sitting here going, wait, we're 1-2, we're 0-3, something like that. Which I don't expect. Their start of the year is pretty tough, though. That game, the 49ers in week 7, but they kind of hit a middle stretch of the year where you go, they're better than every team on the schedule there for a while. There's not too many challenges down the home stretch of the season where you look at it and go, oh, man, that's a gauntlet of games there. And that's where, I do like their chances, of course, and there are the Chiefs, and they're magical.
You have 1 team making the playoffs out of the AFC East. So
this
just
is
the
toughest
division winner
one.
here.
Right.
Your division winner in the AFC East.
Jets, Jets.
Your Josh Allen love.
I know.
Cannot make them a playoff team in your mind.
I didn't pick them to be in the playoffs last year. That was one thing I was wrong about, right? I didn't.
Looked like you were right.
Well,
and then it looked like you were wrong. And then it looked like you were
right again. Right. I know. But yeah, I'm not as deep as this conference is, like we've talked about. I know how awesome he is, and he's the only reason I think about it. I know their team's good, but what their offense is going to look like, how they're going to play that way. And then back to the conversation of, wait, Matt Milano's out, right? Von Miller, what's he going to be like? Do they have enough splash people on the defensive side? I mean, that's what we continually talk about with the Bills, and that's where I couldn't do it. And, yeah, I got the Dolphins not in either, because the Dolphins, between the offensive line changes and the amount of things they got going on the defensive side of the ball, and then being in that division, the AFC East and the AFC in general, yeah, I'm going to have them just missing out, right? I think there could be some teams this year where I look at it and go, yeah, teams 9-8, 10-7 don't get in and lose to tiebreakers, that kind of thing. I'm kind of foreseeing that kind of year.
You believe in the Jets.
I'm going to believe in the Jets of, one, the roster is super talented. Two, mission, right? Mission all the time. Anything I've heard, Saleh knows he's fired if they don't go to the playoffs, period. He's different there. Rodgers' legacy at line here. Joe Douglas, I mean, even though the roster's awesome, if they don't go to the playoffs, he's going to be in trouble, right? So I think there's a real fire under their ass in New York, let alone I think the talent is there too. The biggest thing with them will be, can Rodgers play like he thinks he can play, and can their older O-linemen stay healthy? If they do that, the Jets will be very much in the thick of things in the AFC.
A little bit of depth there. We drafted some with
right.
Fashanu,
They're not
on the
like one
line.
injury and done either.
Yeah,
That's the good thing. There's a little wiggle room. You're totally right about that.
So you got one more division winner, and just like in the NFC, it was the South was your number 4 seed. In the AFC, your South is the 4 seed, and that division winner is
Houston Texans.
Okay.
I'm going to go Houston. I'm a believer in Houston, of course. I do think Houston's going to go a little bit through, what do I want to say, young team struggles in the fact of, wait, we're adjusting to the bullseye, right? And, teams in our division have studied us this year, and we didn't hit the ground quite running the way we all thought they might, right? And let alone the schedule is going to be a little tougher this year for them as well. So I kind of looked at that, again, seriously, really good playoff team. But one of those teams, when I pulled up their schedule, I was like, man, that's sneaky. I don't remember talking about them this much during the schedule release. I know the Colts. I'm not picking them to go to the playoffs, okay? But the Colts are going to be good. And week 1, right? We know week 1 teams are not at their best. They haven't played a lot. The Bears in week 2, I mean, that's scary. It is. But then Minnesota, Jacksonville, Buffalo, okay, they're better than the Patriots, then Green Bay, then the Colts, then the Jets, then the Lions, then the Cowboys. I look at their first 11 games and go, yeah, they're better than the Vikings or the Bears, but not by so much that I look at those teams and go, oh, wow, they're definitely going to win, right? They slip up a little bit. They could be fighting down the home stretch here.
I have a different division winner in this division. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is one of your 3 wild card
I got
teams.
them in. I'm believing in the Jaguars. One playoff caliber team last year, honestly, is what I think. Just injuries, the quarterback dealing with, being beat up, right? I think trying to do too much. They couldn't run the ball for Jack Diddley shit last year. They couldn't protect. That will not be the case this year. I love, of course, the new receiver they've added to the mix and Brian Thomas Jr., and I think their defense now with Eric Armstead goes to another level. I do. So I look at the Jags and go, hey, they could be a team that not only am I picking the playoffs, but I think there's enough talent there and a quarterback and a coach that's fearless in playoff games that, they could be scary in the playoffs. You see them coming to town with some of those guys they got on that roster.
Your other 2 wild card teams are from the AFC North, and so you think it'll play out basically like it did last year with a AFC North team as the 1 seed. It was the Ravens last year, and then 2 other playoff teams. You got the the Bengals as the 1 seed this year, and your 2 other playoff teams from the North are?
I'm going to go the Ravens as my 5 seed, and I'm going to go the Browns as the 7 seed, right? So, yeah. Again, to your point where you go, hey, I'm surprised you picked the Bengals to be the 1 seed. Well, it happened last year, like you just said, right? So, and again, when you put it in the premises of like, I don't think they're going to run away with things there, right? I don't think they'll run away with it to the capacity the Ravens did last year.
Well, it's interesting. The Ravens were 13-4 last year, but they were just 3-3 in the division. The Steelers were the best in the division, and they finished 3rd in the division. They were 5-1.
It's amazing. It really is. It's a very unique division that way. Styles of play, the physicality. Again, there's coaches there that have all been there for a while now too, so they kind of know each other's teams and how they coach and what they do in certain situations. But yeah, the Ravens, of course, are a no-brainer. I'm picking the Ravens to be the 5th seed just a little bit because you've heard me say with the 49ers and all of that. A little bit of a letdown. Going to Kansas City early on, I'm not favoring them in that matchup. I'm not officially picking the Chiefs yet in that game, but I'm certainly leaning that way, right? I kind of look at it that way. The new offensive line, right? That's a totally different group. That kind of, I think that might take a little time to gel together. That's why. But I still certainly think the Ravens are super talented. The Cleveland Browns, the same thing. It's just one question, right? One. And you know what it is.
Quarterback.
Exactly. Just what is he? Who is he going to be? Can they win with him being, just just like a game manager type of guy? They can, I think, right? But can he make some plays and be a difference-making guy? I don't know. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But what I do know is they are good enough to not need a superstar quarterback to take them to the playoffs.
I mean, we saw it
exactly.
last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I went with the Browns. It was a tough one between them, the Dolphins, the Bills, right? But I just went ultimately with the team that I felt like a defense that's special, a coach that's, I think, special with that defense on that side of the ball, and a receiving core. I just went with the team that I thought was the most talented overall, and that was the Browns.
We both have the Dolphins out, and I like the Dolphins last year.
Right.
I just think that, maybe people have started to figure out that offense. Not that it can be figured out. They have some good talent and some speed over there, obviously.
Right.
And then they did lose some stuff on defense. Christian Wilkins is gone. I think their defense is taking a step back.
Wilkins gone, Van Ginkel gone,
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb coming off injury, Jalen Phillips coming off an injury, right? Other guys getting a year older. Offensive line's different, right? Tyreek Hill's just getting back healthy, practicing. I'm with you. And what you said, you weren't wrong. We've seen that the better defensive minds in football have figured out at least how to manage the McDaniel offense. I'm not saying stop it, but we saw Vrabel and McDermott at the end of the year and Spagnuolo just shut shit down there. Right? Where we were like, whoa, they can't do anything. Whoa, what's going to happen? I mean, who's going to break a play? So, I don't think you're wrong there. And I'm interested to see what kind of new tricks McDaniel brings to the table here, because I think he's smart enough to realize he's got to bring a few different angles here this year, because everybody's studying him and stealing him and watching his plays.
Differently than you, I do have the Bills as a wild card team, so I for one, believe in Josh Allen. I don't know. Crazy over here.
You're a dick.
Let's go to your games. You got the 2-seed Chiefs hosting the 7-seed in the Browns.
Here's full transparency too. I literally I write down the playoff bracket, and because I've already seeded them, and then I go, I don't want to. I got to cancel one of these teams out in the first round, right? I have in years past gone back and go, I don't want them to play in the first round. I'm going to let them live a little longer. But I didn't do that this year, okay? And I think the Browns could probably upset any team in the wild card round except for this team. This is the worst team, right? The Browns, aggressive defense. Oh, we pressure the quarterback. Not with that quarterback. First off, their O-line can pass protect against anybody. That's one thing we've learned through the Chiefs dynasty, right? Other than the Buccaneers Super Bowl game and that, they protect. Eagles protect. 49ers protect. Mahomes got time to throw. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win that one, of course. We saw that matchup, a few years ago. It was a good one when Baker Mayfield and the Browns went into Cleveland.
MetLife Stadium, the 3-seed and the Jets, they're back. Aaron Rodgers rocking in there. The Jaguars come to town.
Oh, I mean, the Jets fans, they'll be so belligerently drunk by 5 minutes before kickoff. That stadium will be shaking and going crazy. I'm taking the Jets to win. Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh's first home playoff game and get the victory there.
And you got the 4-5 again. You got the Houston Texans, who might be a home underdog against the 5-seed and the Ravens.
Yep, and I'm going upset here. I'm going Texans here. I gotta pick one upset here. I just felt like in the wild card round, I think this is a team, of course, with that quarterback, the talent they got on their roster through and through. I'm going to take the Texans to get the victory. Give the Ravens a little payback for their first round or their divisional round last year.
So then what Houston gets to do is take a trip to Cincinnati, take
yes,
on the
sir.
1-seed Bengals, and what happens there?
We're going Cincinnati Bengals.
They're done now.
We're going to the Bengals. The Bengals are winning that one. So they're going to the AFC Championship. They'll be hosting the AFC Championship because they're the 1 seed.
And then you got Aaron Rodgers going to Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, and again, Jets are primed for upset. But this is one where I go, I don't know. In my look right now, I don't think the Jets offense has enough for the Chiefs defense. And again, as awesome as I think the Jets defense is, it's still Mahomes and Andy Reid and that Chiefs offensive line that, what happens with teams like the 49ers, teams like the Jets and how they're built, when you have to play the team like the Chiefs and how good they are at pass protecting when they're healthy and all that, it makes them have to they start to go, wait, our front four got there all year. It got there all year. But now Mahomes is just sitting there, and he's just got all day, and he's dancing around. Okay, wait, I don't want to call the splits, but I got to call it because our front four can't get there against these big in Kansas City. And that's where Kansas City against these type of teams, I feel like has a leg up because they'll be like, no, your defense isn't going to ruin the game against us. You might ruin against everybody else, but not against us.
We'll figure out a way.
Yep, Chiefs
as they
win.
often do in the playoffs. So then the Bengals get what they say they want.
That's what they want.
They want the Chiefs, and they get them at home.
They get them at home, right? And I mean, I don't know. There's a part of me, one, that this has got the chance to be the best rivalry we've seen since, Brady, Manning, anything like that, right? We've had Josh Allen challenge Mahomes. He's beating him in the regular season, right? But their team and him, they can't get over the hump to make it a real rivalry as far as the playoffs are concerned. This team can. This team's got their number. And I think this is the one team the Chiefs are a little bit they're the only team they look out of the corner of their eye in all of football, I think, is the Cincinnati Bengals, right? So, yeah, awesome matchup. I'm rooting for it because I just think it's these two quarterbacks. They both got a little edge about them, these two teams, and I think they're on a mission, and I think it's going to be fun.
And you picked. Did you pick it already?
No, I did not.
I was going to say.
I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals to go to the Super Bowl.
Only
Yes.
fitting that they are the team to end the hope of the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid three-peat
I feel
attempt.
like it's always the rivalry. It's like I said, the Giants beating the Niners with 1990 for the three-peat. That was their rival, right? The Giants were the team that were the biggest pain in the butt to the 49ers in the 80s. Oh, who was the biggest pain in the butt to the Cowboys of the 90s? The 49ers. So I kind of went with that. I did. And I think both teams are on a mission, but the fact that Cincinnati gets to play at home, they know how to play the Chiefs a little bit, right? They have the type of system that matches up against Spagnuolo's defense. And, of course, Burrow's hard to trick that way. They are very multiple on the defensive side, so they don't always make it pass rush and all that about beating you, right? They beat the Chiefs a few years ago. It was all about their three-man rush, dropping 8. Remember? That was a big thing. Like, the Chiefs didn't have enough answers for that. So, I'm going to go the Bengals. Let me see. What do they Bengals say? They say who day? They who day?
Yeah, I think they're who day. Yeah, there's who day and who dat.
So who day is going to the stadium of who dat, okay? All right. Yeah, they're going to the Saints. The Super Bowl's in the Saints last year.
Okay.
Who got me? You follow me here?
I am.
Who Day's going to this place for Who Dat is the main chant. But now that's going to be Who Day.
Yeah.
And the Packers going back to a place they won a Super Bowl with Brett Favre.
And they beat Houdini to get there. There we go. Now it's all come
It's
full
all
circle.
come together.
So you've got you've got Packers and you've got Bengals.
I do.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
The Super Bowl.
Right.
I've got Aaron Rodgers taking on Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Jets defense to figure out a way to contain Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, score enough points. So I got Jets and my Detroit Lions.
Oh, my gosh. That'll be the rowdiest Super Bowl crowd in the history of the planet.
As Pete, I was talking to Pete about it before.
Yeah.
He goes, it's like the loser bowl.
Oh, my.
I was like, I get it.
It'll be the greatest beer-drinking crowds you have ever seen. The rowdy Lions fans and the rowdy Jet fans. There will only be 55 fights that week leading up to the game and on Bourbon Street.
What's that one meme, too, where the guy look at each other and they go, look at us. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, you, us. No one would have picked this 10 years ago. Or even
I
maybe
like
2
your
years
matchup,
ago.
though. I do like
That'd be a
that. That
fun
would be
one.
edgy.
Oh,
Lions.
I would love it.
Oh, I mean, Rodgers going against the Lions, a team that he owned forever, but now they're not the same Lions and all of that. It is. That's a cool storyline. I like it.
So all that's left to do is to pick our Super Bowl winners.
Just pick yours.
No, we'll do that.
Okay.
Right after this break.
Oh, you teaser, you.
It is time for you, the homie, to weigh in once again. Yesterday, Chris tweeted out, unbeknownst to himself, a playoff predictions poll. So Pete is accumulating all of the responses. We want you to pick your playoff teams to win the division, the wild card teams, and then the Super Bowl winner, who's going to get to the championship games. Winners at the end of the season will definitely get some merch. I mean, there's one thing you know from this podcast. We always come through with that
merch. Yeah, we're good with that.
And a possible appearance on the pod as well. Contest closes this Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 if you live out in California, one of those West Coast states.
Get it in. Let's go.
Got 120 responses so far. The most popular Super Bowl winners so far. Early polling results here.
Yeah.
Even before the polls close.
Right.
25%, 24% of you have the Chiefs winning.
So 1 out of every 5 people are basically picking the Chiefs so far, which I understand.
11% have the Lions.
Okay. Hello, Lions.
11% with the Ravens.
Whoa.
And then 10% with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow, interesting. All right.
So maybe you will agree with Chris, who has not yet picked his. A loyal homie, Israel IDMS7, chose the Pats to win the Super Bowl. Shouting him out now because that's the last time we will mention that. That is now they have now been mathematically eliminated from the postseason.
Yeah, it's showing a little bias there, just a little bit.
Hey, if you can't root for your own team, and well, why not, right? The NFL, anything can happen in the NFL except for the Patriots winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, right.
So let's do it.
All right.
I'll just do mine. I'm picking the Lions.
No.
So Israel IDM7S, I'm with you. Yeah. My team just actually has the chance to win it this year. Lions over the Jets in a great Super Bowl. Chris, you've got the Bengals. You've got the Packers.
Yep.
In New Orleans.
I'm going Bengals. I'm going Bengals over the Packers to win the Super Bowl. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals this year. I am. I'm going to believe in Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, the roster they have, right? I'm a big fan of Lou Anarumo. I do think their defense, whether I think it'll be a top 5 defense or anything like that, no, probably not. But it's definitely going to be better than last year. I do think the additions of the safeties back, with Geno Stone being there and Von Bell, that, to me, if you talk to anybody in Cincinnati, was an issue with them last year. Because Lou Anarumo is one of those guys, like a Steve Spagnuolo, where, hey, if there's 3 receivers to the right, we're playing this defense. But if one of them motions over and now it's 2 on this side and 2 on this side, we're going to play a totally different defense. And might blitz and play a completely different coverage, right? And that's where you need veterans, especially in the back end, right? We always know you need the linebackers to get stuff. The safeties are a big part of that as well. I think that'll help out. I think he's very game plan specific. And, I think it'll be an awesome matchup. But I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's their time. I think it's Joe Burrow's time.
So if either one of us is right in our Super Bowl prediction, Pete notes here, we will have a first-time Super Bowl champion.
That's right.
And that would be cool.
I know.
That would be cool.
It will be cool. It will. And listen, it took everything in me. I mean, I don't know if like I said, I think the Chiefs are on a mission. I was there last week. It's not like BS. It's not the same feel you get from a team that's won the Super Bowl the last 2 years. It's not. Not that I've been with every team in the history of football that's won the Super Bowl, but I've been in a lot of training camps where they won, and it's not as workmanlike, the things they talk about improving their team, right? They want to attack downfield, right? They got so many aspirations and things and how they want to play this year. Let me just say, it was not easy for me not to put them in the Super Bowl once again. I mean, I was like, Bengals. I mean, it was tough.
You play to win the Super Bowl.
You play to win.
But individually, you'd like to win MVP, too.
Yes,
so let's
would.
talk about some of these award winners. We'll have you give your picks, and then I've got what I think would be the most interesting winner of these awards.
I like that.
DraftKings going to help us once again with the odds for MVP to start out here, and Patrick Mahomes is the favorite, plus 475. Then you have C.J. Stroud as the second choice. I'm very surprised by that.
It's pretty amazing. It is. The fact that he's viewed that way. But I think offense creative, run the ball. Stephon Diggs now with the rest of that group there at receiver, right? They got a pretty damn group, right? Pretty damn good group. And, there's no doubt, I'm blanking on his name, the offensive coordinator of the Texans, Bobby Slowick.
Yep.
He's Ben Johnson of the AFC, right? He's going to be a head coach somewhere next year. He's definitely going to be one of the most sought-after people in the sport as far as offensive minds to lead a new new era for some franchise out there.
MVP, I don't. It's a little boring because it's like, okay, who's the best team and who's the quarterback of that
That's
team?
right.
It
There's
seems
a lot
like
of
that's
it
what
goes
it's
to it.
become here,
Right.
But in that vein,
Yeah.
And we talked to our gambling guys about that. Remember Drew and Jay?
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Goff. A lot of people are saying like the Lions could be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
and
His stats could be there.
they could be there.
To me, that's a good value bet. He'd be
Plus
one of the. He was the
2,000.
ones that jumped out to me when I went, oh man, if you got extra, like I always say, extra change in the couch cushions. Jared Goff pops to me, and from everything you read about them too, they're going to put more on him this year. So he's going to have more checks at the line of scrimmage, which I think is going to really ultimately lead them to being a more dangerous offense. So I'm not. I don't think you're crazy with that one. That's certainly maybe a long shot. The one I'm probably more shocked about is Josh Allen at number 3, just because of what you said. I mean, you know me. I mean, Josh Allen to me is one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. And to me, the people that talk bad about him, I'm like, what? Everything they say bad, I want to go, that's the team, not Josh Allen, right? Again, it's always team related, but the team, as you just said, plays into that. Mm-hmm. So his stats will be awesome. I get that. But, they're probably going to be 7-6 halfway through the year, and nobody gives the number 6 seed of the playoffs the MVP guy.
Well, we've seen it already. He's had awesome years and has not won the MVP.
Exactly
because of
right.
that.
Right.
So who is your pick to
Right.
win MVP? Who you're looking into the future here?
I'm going the number 4 guy in that list. I'm going with Joe Burrow.
There you go.
I'm going with
You're
it.
all in on the Bengals.
I'm all
now.
in on the Bengals. It's number 1
Banging the
seed.
drum for the Bengals.
Bang, who day. I am. I think I just look at that. I look at, like I said, the makeup of him, the team in itself. The only thing that scares me is Jamar Chase, right? But I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little this year. I like that O-line, and I think that Joe Burrow is going to be dicing them up.
As for my pick, there would be no one more interesting to win the MVP than Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the New York Jets. If he was to win it, that would be quite amazing to come back from what he did. He's another year older, coming off the Achilles, and new team, and boom, MVP.
Agreed. I mean, that would be, I think, out of the ones we see on this list, that would be like wow factor. Yeah, he'd certainly would be up there. Right, other guys I look at that I think can be in this conversation, just off our list a little. Trevor Lawrence, right? If the Jaguars are as good as we think they are, right? I do think he could put up some numbers, and they can be a real player, right? Maybe they win the South, like you're saying, and instead of being the 4 seed, they're the 2 or 3, and he puts up huge numbers. I would not be shocked. But yeah, those are, I like it. I do like it. But yeah, Mahomes, Burrow, and man, after that.
Well, I will say,
That
though,
third
too.
place guy might be Jared Goff. It really might be.
Jared Goff,
Yeah.
I like that. Kirk Cousins plus 3,500. Mm-hmm. You don't know where he stands right now. What's going on with the leg? Is he healthy? Is he going to be able to play the whole season healthy?
Yeah.
But if he comes back and if they take a significant step forward, what was the key? They had a quarterback.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of credit there. You're right. He is that. And nonetheless, what you're making it sound is like comeback player of the year. He's got
That's
that locked
true.
up right
That's
there
true.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right, so DraftKings Sportsbook is the number 1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets instantly, plus get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium.
Download the app and use promo code UNBUTTON when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
See, I can take multiple weeks off, and we
Right.
still can do that
Simpatico.
almost okay.
Yes.
We continue our awards predictions here. Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year. This is who everyone says was a very good player, but wasn't on the best team and wasn't the quarterback of that team.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what it is, right? I'm not going to take a quarterback because I don't want to go quarterback, right? Which I certainly can see, maybe Jalen Hurts or somebody like that getting Offensive Player of the Year. I'm down to 2 running backs. All right, I'm going to take Saquon Barkley.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking Saquon. The other guy, I'll just for full transparency, I did think about Bijan Robinson in Atlanta, right? I do think that they're going to feed him and feed him and feed him this year. And Kirk Cousins is a guy that, hey, when people are downfield and they're covered by 7 people, unlike Desmond Ridder, he will check it down to Bijan Robinson instead of trying to throw it through 7 people. So that's where I like it, let alone I think they know what they got there in Bijan. So, but Saquon's the guy I'm going to go with. New place, motivation, space, that O-line, all that. Everybody worried about AJ, Devontae Smith, and Goddard. I'm rooting for Saquon. I really am.
But it wouldn't kill you. Part of you wouldn't, as a Giants fan, blue blood.
It would hurt, but my love of Saquon, the player, and the human being would overtake it. It would be. I like Saquon too much. I think he's got a little bit of a bad deal here in New York, and I'm excited for him in Philly.
That's also my pick for who would be the most interesting to win the award. It's
I
like
love
you
it.
go to your rival and you dominate in the NFL.
I can tell you were surprised when I said that. I had a feeling you might have picked the same
Saquon
one.
Barkley.
Yeah.
We're the same there.
Yeah.
We'll give you this one, your damn okay player of the year. So this is a player who will make you say that most times this season.
A guy that I'm going Jameson Williams, right? I know I banged the table for him a little last year. We saw him come alive at the end of the year. From all due accounts, people you hear up there, they're all excited about what Jameson Williams is ready for, right? And they've all said the same thing. It was all about maturity and just becoming a pro. He has 3 rockets up his ass. He is going to show speed this year where people are going to go, could he beat Tyreek Hill in a race? I think he is that fast, right? And I think you're going to see it this year. They are going to unlock Jameson Williams.
He'll be my player as well because I want that to happen. I'm wishing that to happen now too. And I think that the concern, and you've always been high on him since his college days at Alabama, and he got injured, of course.
Yeah.
My concern with him was his physicality, and can he be that physical guy? Can he make the catches in tough windows? But we saw it in the NFC Championship game last year.
Oh, man,
he's
the
a
reverse
playmaker.
was incredible.
He is a
Right,
playmaker.
right.
Defensive player of the year / big butt of the year potentially here.
Yep, I wrote down 2 names here again, but I'm of course going to go with one. Captain Obvious, duh. I'm going to go with one. I'm going to Detroit though. For the same reasons we talk about quarterback number 1 seed, Aiden Hutchinson is who I'm picking as the defensive player there. You about to pick that too?
That was going to be my most interesting. I feel like this is making this a Detroit podcast at this point, which I really don't care.
Everything about the year that's interesting. Detroit wins. Detroit wins.
sorry
Detroit
about
wins.
that.
I'm very interested in Detroit winning all awards.
In my defense, for the first 4 years of this podcast, I never mentioned the Lions once.
No,
we just
you
didn't even do
You
their
did.
games.
Now you're going to make everybody hate the Lions that listen to the podcast. They're going to go, oh my God.
I think he'd be most interesting because Michigan guy, Michigan Wolverine,
Yeah.
and then it's like revamps this Detroit Lions defense, which we thought it was the offense that was going to be the strong part of their team, and it still will be. But I think Aiden Hutchinson could be a part of a Lions team that make people say, well, their defense actually is top 10 as well.
I think the defense can be that. If they can just get some sort of presence on the other side as a pass rusher, right? Davenport, whoever it might be, to where they just can't always focus on him. He's more than the sacks. That's the one thing we've realized about Aiden Hutchinson. He is an incredible football player. He fucks up the play a lot. He does all of that stuff, too, where we go, oh, yeah, he didn't get a stat there, but he's the guy that busted in the back behind the line of scrimmage and made the running back bounce outside, and now they get a tackle for a 2-yard loss, but he did it. That's where he is phenomenal. He's great in the run game. I think you guys will be up a lot in games. He's going to get to rush the passer, right? So that's who I look at. My other guy that I did think about this was Micah Parsons. Contract year, right? I mean, took one for the team basically and let them off the hook right now by playing and not making a deal about getting a new deal. And you know me. I mean, I think Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in all of the NFL as far as just pure talent. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Aiden, but I'd say watch out for Micah in a contract year.
I wonder with Micah, though, if he's going to have to do too much.
Yeah,
there's too, and that's been the case in the past where it's been a lot on him, but I don't know that he has as much around him now, too. And so
I know.
Yeah,
that
may
we're going
make
to
it
see.
more difficult. Teams may be able to, not that you can neutralize and cancel out Micah Parsons, but they may be able to do that a little bit more with the Cowboys this year.
Yep.
The rookies, the young guns, offensive rookie of the year.
Caleb Williams. I mean, you know that. I got him going to the playoffs. I think he's special. He looked good to me. The wow factor. He can do it all. So I'm going with him, let alone he's got, the team around him to help him along, too, and make him look good.
The player who, if he won, it would be the most interesting. Bo Nix, quarterback of the Denver Broncos.
That would be.
Sean Payton turns things around, got his guy.
Right.
Bo Nix goes in there, torches the league.
Everybody's like, what did we miss on Bo Nix? What did we miss? What did we miss?
He was the last of all the first-round quarterbacks taken, right?
Well, yeah, he was. He was the guy that certainly had the most questions from the media and the draft pundits. But when I tell you of all my, and my friends, and I'm not going to go, all my NFL offensive genius friends, Bo Nix was at the top of the list for everybody. Everybody. So there is a disconnect between.
Not the top of the list.
Well, no, not the top, but up there, right?
Where, amongst.
Yes, where people are like, man, I really liked him. Man, Bo Nix. And then you turn on TV and they'd be like, Bo Nix, he can't. And you're like, what?
I just talked to this guy. He's kind of good.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about.
Not the cream of the class, but maybe like the foam of the class. Like, it was definitely around there. So you got
well
Caleb
done.
Williams. I got Bo Nix. It would be super interesting. Defensive Rookie of the Year for you?
I'm going Latu. Latu of the Colts. I think
He's hit the ground running. It seems.
he has. I think that's where I'm just a little bit. I've been persuaded that way because of what I've seen in the preseason. I thought about Byron Murphy, of course, because he's similar, right? I just think it's harder for the D tackle to do it. You need the sacks. Latu's in the perfect scheme. He's in that Seattle scheme. He gets to play the wide 9 and do all of that and really just rush the quarterback. So yeah, he's the one I'm going to go with there.
So that's why I picked Byron Murphy for Seattle as the most interesting, just because it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
It's
you're
been a
right.
decade since a defensive tackle has won.
Have you looked this up too?
I
You
looked
know
it
who
up.
it is?
Yeah.
Hold on a
Defensive
second.
Rookie of the Year.
Damn.
It's been ends. It's been
Right.
corners.
But a D tackle that won
D-tackle.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, and you said it's about 10 years?
10 years. 2014.
2014. Holy crap. Oh, well, that was Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald.
Duh.
Aaron Donald.
When you said 14, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Aaron Donald.
I knew if I gave you too much information, you'd eventually get it. So, yeah, I think
Duh.
that'd be interesting just because we haven't
Yeah.
seen that. And
Yeah.
for him to dominate to that level to get the recognition would be kind of cool.
I like that.
One more award, Coach of the Year.
Gonna go with a guy that's gotten a lot of crap, right? But done okay, and of course has bounce back year, and that's Robert Saleh, the New York Jets. I'm gonna go there. Again, this is always a hard one to figure out. It does seem a little more hype-ish sometimes than some of the other awards.
I think Zach Taylor, though, if it happens the way you lay it out and they get the
And
one seed,
You're right, and he's never won it, right?
Yeah.
It's funny how some guys just don't ever seem to be in the running for winning it.
it's like you have a window
Yeah.
as like a bad team, and then once you get good, you can't win
You
Coach
can't
of the
win it
Year
again.
because you were
You know,
supposed to
you
be
got to be like
bad.
Stefanski. You got to drop off again and then come good, and then they go, "Hey, he's a good coach again."
Yeah.
It is a little weird, but yeah, I think that with dealing with the New York media and the Rodgers stuff and all the pressure that's on the Jets, I got them getting the playoffs as a 3 seed, and of course, I think they're going to be damn good. And this is his defensive vision of a football team, anyways.
Yeah, the most interesting man,
Yeah.
if he were to win it,
Right.
Jim Harbaugh, without a doubt.
Oh.
That would be the most. He goes in
a
there
good
with the
one.
Chargers. They make the playoffs, even, God forbid, win the division somehow. He's Coach of the Year. It'd be insane.
Yeah, that would be a good one. All right, well, good for you. You didn't pick Dan Campbell there. That was good. I'm glad to see you're capable of talking about it on the
we
team.
all will know he's the best coach, but he just now the team's too good. Fantasy football is going on right now.
Okay.
Everyone knows that. Hopefully you've had your drafts. If not, you still have some time.
You do.
The Roto World Fantasy Football Draft Guide is now available exclusively through a new partnership with Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. Matthew's got everything going on right now. Get a Fantasy Life Plus subscription and receive the Roto World Draft Guide plus Fantasy, DFS, betting tools to help you dominate the draft all season long. You can use the promo code ROTO10, get 10% off. You go to NBCSports.com/fantasylife to learn more.
Wow. He's living that fantasy life, that Matthew Berry. That's what he's doing. you
Although
know?
he comes in always stressed out, like under
that's-
the gun. He's like 30 seconds before air.
Well, that's because he's always late. I mean, that's what happens when you're late. You're stressed out because you're like, oh, shit, my show's starting and I'm still on I-95 and they're starting and I'm still not here.
Can I call in? Is there a Zoom link? Microsoft Teams.
He is always that like, yes, rush in, got something. And you want to? I've seen him some mornings, and I want to rag on him and yell at him a little bit, and be like, "Hey, chill out! You're just going in there to talk about fantasy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You'll be okay."
Well, I hope we didn't ruin it for everyone. It's like it's a spoiler alert. We should have said that at the top.
Answer key.
Spoiler alert. If you wanted to be, excited by and surprised by the NFL season, we just ruined it for you.
Yeah, we ruined it. The answer key's out there. There's no more reason to watch other than just to watch me on the pregame on Thursday night. After that, just tune it off.
Yep.
And go, he's already told us what's going to happen. Don't worry about it. No, hey, please, homies, send in all your playoff predictions, your seeds, get to the Super Bowl winner. We know, we love you to be a part of that. We keep the tally all year long. We'll give you shout outs for people who are doing well. And when we get there, we'll certainly try to give you love. And Ahmed will give you the one piece of swag that we have that his wife's made for us. And
The
maybe
shirt
he'll
off
send
my-
it to you.
yeah,
Shirt
the-
off his back.
Literally.
We're going to do that. You know where to find us. All right. Thursday, I got my Picks Pod with Florio in Kansas City. Right. I will be on Pro Football Talk earlier that morning. And as we get going here, we're going to be in a schedule next week of, hey, Sunday night, Rams, Lions. We'll be talking about the game as it's going on, as usual, in the fourth quarter. All right, we'll do the whole week pod there Sunday night, so you have it when you wake up Monday morning. Wednesday will be our film breakdown, right? And we might change that around a little bit this year. Maybe make it a little more concise and hard-hitting on just a fewer topics instead of maybe trying to hit on half the league and film breakdowns. And then Thursday, I always do my picks pod with Florio. But everybody, hope you're good. You know where to find us. Check me and Florio out on the picks pod on Thursday. Check us out on the kickoff show Thursday night on NBC, Peacock. Okay, you know where to find us. Ahmed, thanks as always. Appreciate you wearing the red pants today.
Oh, have to.
You have to. Just start the year like this. Ahmed's picking the Lions to win everything, okay? I have some different picks. All right, you know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, review. We'll see you, homies. Peace out. Clap it up. Yo, 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 what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Sims Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.